after. So just real quickly, we have, for ongoing operations, we have fixed costs and we have variable costs. Fixed costs would be costs that are set. They don't vary with the number of units you sell or with the number of services you provide. Um, Whereas variable costs in total will increase with every unit that you sell. So just using a sandwich shop for an example, okay, we've estimated that the cost to make each sandwich is $4.50 on average. So every time you sell a sandwich, you're adding another $4.50. Whereas in the fixed cost category, at this facility, in this example, the rent is set at $1,200 per month. Okay, so no matter how many sandwiches you sell per month, that rent will not change. Okay, so real quickly, I drafted this out for you as an example. QRT company plans to operate a sandwich shop. QRT believes that it can sell an average sandwich for $8, including a drink and chips. Okay, so the drink and chips and the sandwich ingredients all are part of this food cost per sandwich here in yellow. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Prior to opening, QRT projected the following costs. So these are ongoing costs. These are not the startup costs. These are the costs that QRT will incur every month as they continue to operate. Projected cost, of course. Okay. There's no way to actually predict precisely. So what this thing is asking us to do is use the break-even formula to determine the average, and I made a typo here, the average number of sandwiches QRT will have to sell each month to break even. That's the first part. And then how many sandwiches will QRT need to sell to make $6,000 per month? Okay. So break even is important because that sets a baseline that lets us know how we stay alive. Okay. So if we're losing money, we're not breaking even, we're coming in negative. So we want to know our baseline. We want to know exactly how much we need to sell to keep the business going, and then from there we can build on profit projections. Okay, so the basic break-even formula in units is here, over here on the right. Break-even in units equals the fixed costs, so the total fixed costs divided by your price, which is $8, minus the variable costs per unit. Okay, so we got to do some converting here. Right, we're looking at a monthly thing. So number one, rent's okay for that numerator, the fixed cost piece. Rent is $1,200 per month, but look at this, we got manager's salary, that's $50,000. So we'd have to divide the $50,000 by 12 months to get the monthly amount. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll do that down here. So we got rent, abbreviate, manager's salary and utilities. So the manager's salary would be equal to 50,000 divided by 12 months. So that's roughly 4,167 per month. Okay, and then we're gonna include the rent, and we will include 500 per month in utilities. So total fixed cost would be the sum of those. So if I add them up, we're looking at $5,866.67. We could just round and say we'll call it $58.67. Okay, because this is a rough estimate. Okay, that's going to be our fixed cost for the month, rounded. Okay, now over here on variable costs, what we're wanting to do is get the variable costs per sandwich. Okay, so if we know there's $4.50 per sandwich, right? But remember, there's excise tax. So there, for every sandwich you sell, which we're saying is going to sell for about $8, you're going to pay 4.5 cents in general excise tax, and then you're going to pay another 2.5% in sales commission. Okay, so you're looking at 7 additional percentage points for every sandwich you sell. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll say over here food cost, okay, and that'll be $4.50, okay, and then my general excise tax, GET, will equal 4.5% times $8, because we're planning to sell the sandwich for $8. Okay, so 36 cents. And let me put that in parentheses so you can see 4.5% times the $8 price. Okay, and then the same idea with commission. Right? We're going to have 2.5% times $8. So another 20 cents. And here you can see how I did that. So if I were to add that up, this would be my variable costs per sandwich. Okay? Which in this case is the unit. We're selling sandwiches. Okay. So if we add that up, we got $5.06 per sandwich. So all I really have to do is plug that into my break-even formula, which I have over here on the right. And I can figure how many sandwiches I have to sell, considering this cost structure, to cover all of my costs for the month. So let's do it. The numerator is my total fixed costs, which is, okay, and I'm going to end up dividing that by, put a little divide mark here. I'll divide that by $8, which is the price per sandwich. It's really $8 minus 5.06, $5.06, which are the variable costs down here. So if I were to do that, I would end up with the number of units that I have to sell to cover all of my costs. So why don't we figure that out? Let's take 8 and divide by $8 minus our 5.06. So in unit terms, of course, right? You have to sell roughly 1,995 sandwiches, or 96 if you round up, because I guess you could have a half sandwich, but to break even for the month. So break it down, maybe divide that by 4 weeks, and you've got to sell almost 500 sandwiches per week. Okay, so you kind of have an idea of how many sandwiches you have to be generating. And I would say operation like Subway probably sells way more than 498 sandwiches per week. But keep in mind, their cost structure is probably different too. Okay, so when you're doing your research and building your business, it's really important to find as precise cost as you can. Okay, you can only get as precise as the data allows. So you're doing research, maybe you can find inside information from people that work in the industry to give you some of that information. Now, remember the second part of the problem over here is, what if you wanted to make $6,000 per month? Well, that's easy. To do that, all we do is we tweak the numerator. Okay, so if you want to go to the profit target, so let me if we wanted to, I'm going to call it profit target. Okay, what we do is we take the numerator, the fixed costs, and we add our profit target to it. Okay, so I'll say target profit. Why don't we go a little smaller so you can see? Okay, so this is the one we're working on now. If we wanted to figure out how many units we have to sell to hit a $6,000 per month profit, then all you would do is take this same formula that we have here. Maybe we can fit him in down here. Okay. And we would take the numerator of 5,866. Oops. Let me clean this up for you. Okay. Essentially, it would look like this. So you would have 5,008. There you go. 5,866.67 plus the profit target of 6,000, and you would divide all of that by $8 minus 506. So your profit target is built in there. So let's just see how many more how much will the number of sandwiches need to be for us to hit 6,000 a month. Well, we'll take 5. I'll just use that number up there since that's a real number. Okay, plus 6,000 divided by $8 minus 506. Okay, just I'm referencing sales because I have the numbers there, but if you were to do this math, so now we have to actually sell roughly 2,000 more sandwiches, okay, per month. Okay, and on a weekly basis, take that average month, divide by 4 weeks. You got to do about 1,000 sandwiches per week, which could be doable if you're in the right location. Okay, class? So email me with some questions. I know I haven't heard from a lot of you, and this is one thing that you could start doing. I know I sent you out to start gathering your costs up. Now keep in mind, these are ongoing costs. You also want to get your startup costs. Those are the one-time costs when you're building a business plan. Okay, thank you.